Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is CeeChronicles and I post Middle Eastern fragrance reviews on this channel. Now, if you like that style of content and you're not yet subscribed, please do consider subscribing and joining the family. To those who are already subscribed, thank you so much for the continued support. So we had a massive unboxing courtesy of Lattafa earlier. Well, no. In the weekend, because it is Tuesday, and I asked you guys which fragrance you would want me to review first, and most of you voted for Teriaq. Okay, so it comes with this cover right on top, but I did not want to put the cover back because I noticed that it said that you rip the cover off or it takes a long time to kind of like pull it out carefully. And now the fragrance sits in here, guys, and this is not a new fragrance to a lot of you guys who are privy to getting some of these fragrances like immediately, right? But for me, I was lucky enough to be gifted this fragrance by the house of Lattafa themselves, and I'm very happy to bring you the review. Okay, so before then, let me just show you the presentation, right? It does have the snake. I don't have a problem with snakes, and I actually think it makes the bottle nice, and this is how it looks. So this is Teriaq, a Quinton, a Bish, and Lattafa baby. Okay, so let me tell you my thoughts now. First impressions you're going to get with this fragrance is a caramel kick. Vanilla, sweet, caramel kick. It's going to give you that wrap up of a very sweet fragrance offset. But it is one of those fragrances that is a quintessential example of why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, or at least why you should give a fragrance time. I'm going to say I was underwhelmed when I opened this fragrance and sprayed it for the first time, because the one thing that came to mind was, why did they do this and couldn't they do better? You know, that is what came to mind. So would have bought this review yesterday, but I then thought, no, let me douse myself in this fragrance and really see what it's on about as it develops, and you know, and then I go through all the pages before I bring the fragrance so that I am 100% sure of my thoughts. Right now, notes listed for this fragrance, guys, are going to be that caramel at the top, bitter almond, pink pepper, and the apricot, some honey, some rhubarb, lists white florals, but I wouldn't say the flowers in this are speaking the most. It does say it has white florals and a rose, and then the base of it is that vanilla that I said, you know, is the pop there at the opening, leather, musk, vetiver, as well as some labdanum. Now, what you're going to get in the offset, of course, is that caramelized sugar tone of a fragrance with the vanilla making a statement, but mostly that caramel. And that caramel is then mixed or starts to marry with a bitter tone there, which comes from the almond. So it's going to be a sweet burst and somewhat of a bitter, you know, thing. So it's going to be like a bitter sweetness, but yes, distinctly sweet, but with the underlying bitter thing that you get there. Then the leather comes into the mix, making this fragrance align with the unisex type of fragrances, where you cannot say it's feminine, no, can you say it's masculine? Why I have to emphasize this point is it comes in a blush pink bottle, it comes in a blush pink box, so it's easy for some to use a mental shortcut that this might be feminine leaning. No, I get a fragrance, guys, that because of that warm weight of an animalic leather turns into a fragrance that is safe for both genders. There is also a woody tone that wraps this fragrance around, as well as a fruity tone in this fragrance. Now, with the fruit, I do not, you know, with my nose extract apricot per se. I get a fruit that aligns more with pear, you know, like a candied type of fruit there, very candy forward, sugared forward fruit. But then again, I'm not saying there's no apricot. I'm just simply saying if you are an apricot lover, I wouldn't say this is going to give you outright apricot. It just comes across as like a caramelized fruit that's in the mix there. Now, why I said it's important, you know, to possibly give fragrances time and not to use a mental shortcut is because this fragrance is two-faceted, at least to my nose. It's going to have two reactions. Now, if you're one of those people that walk into a store, spray a fragrance, smell it for 5-10 minutes, you'll probably think this aligns very much with Le Bel, especially the Le Parfum, and you'll just walk away all the intense, right? But as this fragrance develops, you're going to see a juice that marries the work of two perfumers together, perfectly. However, the two-facetedness of this fragrance is going to be such that it will be unique for some. If you've never smelled La Belle, never smelled Camera, you're going to love this outright. But if you have, you might actually find yourself being one in that category of being underwhelmed. Because what happens with this fragrance is it's going to have that pop where you think, I've nailed it, it's La Belle. And then you're going to be left there thinking, why? You know, why Lattafa? Why would you take Quentin Bish all the way, such a big perfumer, and, let him just give you something that he's already put in the market there, just tweaked a little bit. And then after that, you're going to then feel the weight of that identifiable Lattafa thing that you get in Camera making a presence, which makes me think that this could have cinnamon. It may even have dates, because there's like a sticky sweetness of fruit in here, and it does not list dates. But as you wear it, especially after that 30-minute mark, after you have felt that leather that I was talking about, after that caramel and vanilla pop, and that caramel and vanilla pop holds on to the end. Some of you are going to call it a sweet wrap up, and that little bit of a bitter tang there coming from the almond is going to hold on through the end. There's going to be then this marrying of two noses that you're getting there, which is something that we've been presented by Lattafa before in the form of Camera. Definitely something in line with Camera coming across here, marrying with that pear feel that you get from La Belle, the Intense, or the Perfume. So it just depends, guys, on how you want to class this fragrance. It is actually a fragrance that made me say, I will layer. Remember I said I wore this, I gave this a full wear yesterday. I actually doused myself. But it is a fragrance that I said to myself after this, because yesterday my nose was completely blinded by this. It is a pretty strong fragrance, right? Especially if you douse yourself in it. It is quite a heavy fragrance there. So it does last, I'm going to say, basically till the next wash, or at least the whole day, right? So after I wore this, I was tempted to try and mix the Camera that I have together with the La Belle, but I thought, no, let me not do it like that, because my nose is probably now fixated on just the scent. So I have to kind of like wipe the scent off. And this is not something that I thought coffee beans will do. I thought I'm going to do it at some separate time and see if, my inkling is correct, that it does feel like Lattafa came in there, weighed in with their DNA, that Camera popular DNA, while Quentin Bish came in there and gave us somewhat of a base that is in a little bit of that La Belle that he has already given us. The combo of the two makes it then a perfect mix of what a Western accustomed nose will like, as well as a Middle Eastern accustomed nose would like, without necessarily aligning with either. So I like the fact that they played around with this one to make it safe enough to, if you like spicy fragrances, woody fragrances, warm fragrances, a little bit of how spices are mixed in the Middle Eastern fragrances, you're gonna love this, as well as that familiarity of course, the caramel use there and the vanilla use, and the fruity use there that aligns again with Western fragrances. So it's a perfect combo of both. However, having said that, guys, the juice itself is one that leaves, especially myself, thinking, could Lattafa have done more? That is the one thing that just weighs on my mind. That could they have done more? Could they have maybe come up with a creation that is distinctly non-related with what they've given us before, and maybe told Mr. Bish not to use any of his staples that he has used before, and how that would have turned out? I don't know. It's just something that plays in my mind, that possibly maybe if it had been done to present something exclusively new, something that we have never ever even come across, maybe it would have had that instant wow factor. To conclude, I'm going to say I'm not disappointed, guys, in this fragrance. I completely love this fragrance. I can see how it can come across as a complete pleasant surprise. However, if you have been following the Lattafa journey and you've put your nose on a Camera, the minute it starts to rise there and kind of give you that date feel, a little bit of a cinnamon kick there, which of course I did not mention. I'm just saying that is how it kind of, is extracted by my nose. Once it starts to, get to that point, it is then the part where you have mixed feelings as to, Okay, it is a fragrance that you can completely blind buy if you do not fall in love with it immediately. It does have that kind of, you know, thingy that draws you in, but there is that unmistakable tease where it does bounce in between Quinton's work in Label together with Lattafa's work in Camera, fusing both fragrances, guys, but making them safe enough for you not to say this is a Label clone or to say this is a Camera clone. This is a fragrance that's going to hold its own the entire day. What I'm getting now is so impressive to an extent that after it sits for longer and longer, obviously it's going to do the most there. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we'll obviously discuss more about fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on Teriaq. Is it a fragrance that you completely fell in love with? Is it a fragrance that you had mixed feelings over? Do take note that I'm going to drop the Lattafa website in the description. I'm also going to try and put the Lattafa website, guys, in the community tab, because they do now have a USA website. And of course, if you're in the UAE, it's easy. All you need to do is to go onto their UAE website. Do turn on post notifications while you're at it. That way, guys, you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one. And remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.